What is up, kids? Today we are checking out the Rockett Audio Designs A.P. Now I need to do some splaining about this pedal because based on that intro performance, one would be led to think that it's a delay pedal. It is in fact not a delay pedal, but it is a pedal for your delays. The concept behind this pedal, what A.P. stands for, is Analog Preamp Experiment. Now the preamp section of this pedal is based on an EP3, an ECHOPLEX. Now of course that's been done before, builders have done it, but there's not too many that I know of that have actually matched the correct voltage for that circuit, which is 22.5 volts. You can use a 9-volt adapter standard and still get the 22.5 volts that this circuit really requires. So that being said, it sounds killer just as basically a tone enhancer or a preamp. But what makes this so cool is there's been some pro players, one in particular, that has loved the sound of an EP3 preamp, but they wanted to be able to insert their favorite delay instead of having a tape cartridge into that EP3 circuit. So they had an old one modified to work, and it ended up sounding really cool. So you could, essentially put your favorite Memory Man delay in that circuit, or your favorite just straight ahead digital delay, whatever it is you love, you can put it in that circuit but still have the amazing EP3 preamp. Essentially, that is exactly what you can do with this pedal. So what I did is guitars in and out, just like any other pedal on the top here, but it has a loop. And within that loop, you can put any delay you want. And the way you set up the delay is you put your mix level all the way to 100% and you put your repeats down to 1, because on the top of this pedal, if you look, there's a mix level and a repeat. So all your regen comes from this pedal as opposed to your delay, and your mix level is also done on this pedal as opposed to your delay. And what that creates, and what I heard right away, because I set up my my Strymon timeline as static as I possibly could as a digital delay, what I heard right away was in the repeats, instead of the delay just kind of tapering off or basically just disappearing, it really kind of melted away like an EP3 echo would. It's just beautiful how those repeats almost turn into a reverb. And I'll let you hear that in the demo. It works great. So I've explained that there's a mix level and a repeat level. Within the loop, send and return that you put your delay in, you also have a record level. And we'll get into that in the demo. You can crank that up and down for maybe a slightly dirtier delay or a cleaner delay. And then you've got two switches on the bottom of this guy. The right switch is your on-off switch. Now what that's doing is engaging the actual EP3 style circuit. The loop switch on the other side is what's going to engage the loop. So when you've got your delay in there, you can turn it on and off independently of the actual preamp. Now, if the preamp isn't on, you can't turn on the loop. But if the preamp is on and you want to turn the loop off, then you can, because that way you can still keep that tone enhancing EP3 section happening. We'll get into the demo because there's some other ways you can run this guy besides just using it as a delay enhancer, and you'll be able to check that out. We'll run it as a boost pedal. I think I'm actually going to do a comparison between this and an actual EP3 delay sound, so that'll be really cool. Another thing I want to mention really quick is Rockett Audio Designs has designed a power supply or power distribution. It's called the juice joint. And basically what this does is it takes away the whole problem of daisy chaining. A lot of guys have, a power adapter that they can just daisy chain across all their pedals. The problem with that, well, the main problem is the noise. In this case, you can do the same exact thing. This isn't a power supply. You would still plug your 9-volt adapter into it, but then you're getting 6 completely filtered and isolated outs. So in general, you won't get the noise issues from daisy chaining off of a single 9-volt output. And the thing that's really cool, and what I will probably do with this as soon as I'm done with it, is if you were to run it off of just one channel of whatever power supply you're using, whether it's a Zuma or it might be, you know, the Voodoo Labs stuff or the True Tone supply, whatever it is, you could take one channel out, run it into this, and then if you've got lower milliamp pieces on your pedal board that you need to power, it'll do it super clean with no problems whatsoever. And of course it does come with different length cables for you to use. So anyways, this is really handy and it works great. That was so pretty. Seems like so much of the stuff I play just literally sounds like I took a microwave, an old one, and threw it down some stairs. This actually sounds like I took a beanbag, oiled it up real good, and tossed it down a slip and slide. We are checking out the Ape. There's a few different ways you can use this, and I'm going to try and show those to you. But I think this is the coolest way to run it, in my opinion, and nobody cares about my opinion, but I'm just going to say it anyways. So what I've done is I've got my guitar going to the input, and the output is going to my Shure Bella. And then in the tape loop, the send and return, I've got my Strymon timeline. Now I need to do some splaining on how I have that set up. I've set that up in the most bland, unadorned. I've got the filter, the grit, that's all off. The mix is all the way up. I've got it set to just one repeat. And what is my computer doing? Oh, okay. I thought that thing wasn't in record. Anyways, I've got it set up for one repeat. The mix is all the way up. Everything, I've got it set up as bland as I can get it. And it's really just to show you how good this thing sounds when you run it this way. So the way this is set up, it's making that digital delay that I'm using, the Strymon, actually sound and feel more like a tape delay. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, I'm going to shut all of this off, is this is just the guitar into the amp. That's my Shure Bella. I honestly don't know why I'm pointing over there, because you can't see it anyways, but it's my Shure Bella. I'm just going to turn on the actual preamp of this first before I turn on the loop, because I want you to hear what it just adds to your tone by itself. I really dig what it adds, because it softens everything up just a little bit, but it also makes it feel better. It feels more vintage right away. Like, that's really clean. This actually adds kind of a... Yeah, wear headphones or earbuds if you can. And you'll hear what I'm talking about. So that alone sounds cool. Now I'll turn on. missed that last harmonic by just that much. That's why it sucked. So anyways, now what I want to show you is that's one way to run it. That's real pretty and long, you know, delays that trail forever. But let's go the other way. Let's try, I'm going to turn down my delay time to something faster, more maybe of a like a slapback. And I'm going to turn the repeats all the way off. I'm actually going to turn the tape head level up so that those delays kind of distort a little bit. And this is where it kind of gets cool because you can almost get like almost a reverb. We can turn up the mix a little bit. So just that slapback sound. Is so cool. You can't get that out of just a straight up digital delay, and really you can't get this feel and bounce without this pedal, just because the circuit has been done so well on it. So that's a cool way to run it, you know, with it distorted a little bit. Of course, we can go back the other way. I can turn the time back up so it's longer. And even if we wanted to keep those repeats a bit dirty, so that sounds really cool. Let me show you something real quick. Can't quite remember where I had the delay set for the solo tone that I did. But all I did was back position pickup on this Stratocaster that I'm using. I turned on my Majestic overdrive. It's a Rockett pedal overdrive. And then I just dialed in my delay till I had it about where I wanted. And I don't think I was using, I think I had the overdrive turned down a bit. There it was. And I just liked the way that sounded. Maybe a couple more repeats, a little bit less mixed. And then I also liked what this just added to my sound. So here's just the, that's just the overdrive pedal. Here I just made it rounder. It kind of softened it up a little bit, but it didn't take away a ton of top end or make it sound dark. And then when I added the delay, I just thought that was a great sound, and this is coming from a guy that really does not like to run a delay into a distorted signal. That's what's happening right now, is essentially the ape is driving the input of my overdrive pedal. I normally don't do that. I want delays after overdrives. But in this case, I thought it sounded great. And once again, I think it just changed it to a more kind of bouncy, but with a bit of compression delay. So that's one way to run it. I'm going to set this up so you can hear it strictly as a boost pedal, because it sounds really great like that. So give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, I want to show you how you can use the Rockett Pedals Ape as a boost pedal. And it actually sounds pretty good for this. So I've decided to switch over to my Friedman BE100 Deluxe. I'm using the first channel, which they're calling the clean channel, but you can actually get it to break up more like a plexi would break up. So I've got it set up for kind of a mild breakup. Same thing applies here. I've just removed anything from the actual tape loop, and I've left the input off my guitar and the output is going to the amp. So if I turn on just the on-off, it adds that subtle difference. Kind of rounds it out. I mean, it already sounded great, but this kind of gives it even a rounder feel. Now, if I turn on the loop, now we can use the pedal as a boost. And it sounds great. The mix and the repeats do make a subtle difference. As I turn the mix up, it adds kind of an openness in the top end. If I turn up the repeats, it makes it brighter, almost treble boosty. So that's another cool way to run it. Let's compare this to a real ECHOPLEX. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play something really simple using the Ape with my Streamline set up the way I showed it to you guys, and then I'm going to plug in an actual ECHOPLEX and let you check that out. So here we go. Okay, so now we're going to listen to a real ECHOPLEX. I do apologize for the little noises and sounds it's making. I'm not sure how old the tape is in this one. I've actually borrowed it from a buddy of mine. It is a little noisy, but it still sounds great. It's a great old ECHOPLEX. So I'm going to try and play the same thing and let you guys hear, or let you guys decide how close it really is. just in my opinion, the only thing I'm hearing here is the actual bit of tape warble. And obviously we can't recreate that necessarily with just a straight up digital delay. But other than that, I think the actual circuit and delays themselves sound pretty close. But let me try and play the same thing and you guys can check it out. So that is the Rockett Audio Designs A.P. If you have any questions about that pedal, go to the Rockett Audio website and check it out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos. And we'll see you next time.